All right, what's up, YouTube? So, we've gotten into some of these conversations about bowling, professional bowling, league bowling, all of that stuff. Today, another good point was brought up to me. I went to Sterling Lanes here in Michigan, and, excuse me. Whoa. Bless me. I went to Sterling Lanes just a little bit ago for one of the senior leagues and was talking to some of the senior guys. And one of the things that they mentioned was, in league bowling, you're kind of stuck on your own. And the PBA, you have ball reps and all that stuff. So I had to kind of explain a little bit about ball reps and all that. But we're going to get into some detail about whether the ball reps out there from the companies are any help or are they just kind of there just to be there. I don't know. Let's talk about it here in a minute. Stay tuned. I had to go and put a t-shirt on. I didn't want to wear my cutoff where, y'all could be looking at my manly muscles and getting all excited. Just kidding. But anyway, make sure to hit that like button. Hit that thumbs up, even though my joke right now was just really bad. Give me a thumbs up for the bad joke anyway. You should do that. That'd be quick. That'd be sweet. Right here. Go ahead, hit that thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe, comment below. Let me know, what do you think of the ball reps? Do you think they're a huge advantage for being out there, or do you think they're not? I personally have I've experienced all of it. I've been out there on a staff as a staff player for companies, and I've been out there as a non-staff player for companies. Now, here's the one thing I will say: if you are not on staff with somebody, you shouldn't go out there expecting help from anybody, because the ball rep's job is to get their bowling balls on the TV show. Their job is to get their players, their staff players, to bowl as well as they possibly can. So, with that being said, they're going to try to help out their staff as much as possible. Now, most guys out there, most of the ball rep guys, with the exception of a couple, we won't mention any names, most of them are willing to help anybody. As long as you're polite about it, you're nice. If they can't help you, they just won't help you. As far as like drilling balls and stuff, the main thing they're out there is to kind of monitor, which balls are being drilled by the professionals and all of that stuff. I mean, I can't say that for them that that's what they're out there for, but a lot of the job is monitoring the equipment that's on the PBA trucks to make sure, people aren't just going out there all willy nilly, just drilling whatever they want all the time. They still have a budget, they still have numbers they have to stay under. They can't be giving away a bunch of bowling balls, and they got to make sure that a lot of the best bowling balls are there for their best players who have the best chance of making the TV shows. Storm staff guys, they're going to make sure that if Belmo has certain bowling balls that he really, really, really enjoys, they're going to make sure there's a few of them on there so he can drill different layouts and whatever else. And then you got guys like Dom who will come from overseas and come over, and usually he'll bring 0 bowling balls or sometimes just 1 or 2, and then drill 10 balls when he gets here. And they let him do that because that's what they need to do. And a lot of these guys, there's a lot of guys that drill a lot of bowling balls. There's guys that will drill 5, 6 bowling balls every single tour stop that the truck is there, because they wait until they practice on the pattern, or they'll even say, okay, we're bowling on this pattern. I got a general idea. We've bowled on it before. This is what I saw. I'm going to drill these 2 balls for practice, and I'm going to drill maybe 3 more after practice based on what I see. And a lot of the times it's mostly, it doesn't matter whether they think they need them or not. They drill them in case they do need them, or in case, just to have options. And that's been one of my flaws over the last, let's call it a couple of years now, especially this year with the first time being out there, the majority of the stops. I didn't drill any balls. I didn't drill 1 ball off the truck. So I just kind of went out with what I had. I was drilling balls beforehand at the pro shop and taking them with me. And I didn't drill anything on the truck. I never asked for anything. I never, any of that stuff. So I think that was one of my flaws. One of my weaknesses was I probably should have been drilling at least a couple of bowling balls at every stop if it was available for me. I would hope that, it shouldn't matter which ball rep I walked up to and asked. They should say, you should understand how many bowling balls I sell. And they would, I know that sounds entitled. Maybe it is, I don't know. But you would think that they would recognize the amount of bowling balls that Bowler X sells, and I have a little bit of a hand into that. And so they shouldn't have an issue with me drilling bowling balls. But, I don't want to assume anything, So I didn't drill a single ball. I didn't ask any questions really to anybody. I think Tim Mack was pretty much the only one I talked to while out at any of the stops, and that's just because I've had a relationship with Tim before. When I made the TV show, when I was throwing all storm stuff before, he was the guy that was behind me pretty much the entire time. Between him and Schlem, those guys have really helped me out. So huge shout out to Schlemmer and to Tim Mack. So yeah, so here's my opinion on ball reps and whatnot. I feel like they are a help. They're absolutely a help, but I don't think they're the help that everybody thinks they are. You see a lot of people that said, "Oh, if I had somebody standing behind me telling me what to do all the time, I'd make TV shows too." Nah, that's not what happens. They definitely don't stand behind anybody just telling them what to do. They don't tell them what moves to make. The only time they'll really make a suggestion is during struggle times, when guys are struggling. So, catch a pair and you're 5 frames in, don't have a strike, and you're having a conversation with the ball rep, they may suggest something, but it's usually just bouncing ideas back and forth. Because let's be honest, these guys are the best in the world. And the gals. If we're talking PWBA with the reps out there too, these guys and girls are the best in the world. Most of them have pretty good knowledge of what they should and shouldn't do. They at least know their own game really well as to which bowling balls are going to work in certain situations and which layouts are going to work, and as far as lane play and stuff, like that's some of the ideas that are going to get bounced around too. It's like, hey, these are the guys that were on this pair before. This guy played here, this guy played here. Here's the types of bowling balls they were using. So the ball reps are really important for like scouting pairs. If you're on a staff of some sort, you'll see these guys walking around with a clipboard, and they're checking pairs. Here's where my guys are coming to and going to. Here's who were on them. The 3 people were using urethane here, so that way they can kind of relay that information. Like, hey, Bill O'Neill, look, hey, you're coming to this pair. 3 guys started with urethane here. They were out of it by the 8th frame, and then they kind of moved in a little bit, and we're using these types of balls. Those types of things is the information that's really useful from ball reps. So that's really the advantage of a ball rep, because there's a lot of times when you can go from pair to pair. If you don't have that information, you're giving up 3, 4, sometimes 5 frames, and you're losing 60, 70 pins because it's taking you that long to figure out that, holy cow, okay, they started with urethane, and making the moves is very difficult. So if you throw in the first frame, you don't realize you're going to a pair where there was a lot of urethane and you miss the head pin and wash out, there's an open the first frame generally. And then you make a move and you 4-pin, well, now you're behind a move, and now you make the move again that lane. Now you're in the 5th frame or so before you finally, get lined up. So you've given away 50 pins possibly just by trying to get lined up on a pair that, if a ball rep was paying attention for you and let you know, hey, 3 guys were using urethane, immediately before you throw your first shot, you're either going to move right or you're going to grab a different ball and you're going to try to play them differently. So that's a big, giant advantage in a lot of these situations is that. I've talked to, like when I was on EBI staff, I wasn't one of the guys they really ever sat behind, and I did have conversations with guys like Rob Gottschall, who was out there all the time. I did at one point ask, like, hey, is there a reason why, I really don't hear from you guys much? And generally what they'd say is, you're one of the smartest guys out here. What am I going to tell you? I mean, you can bounce, if you got questions, come and bounce them off me, let me know. I'm always there for you. But most times, you're one of the guys we don't have to worry about. That's what I was always told, which is a huge compliment. I appreciate that. And he would rattle off some names like, these guys I gotta like babysit. Like, these guys don't have a clue, so I gotta sit behind them. That type of thing. So that's kind of a huge compliment, coming from the ball reps and stuff. And generally I would agree. Generally most times I have a pretty good idea of what's going on. Most times when I'm struggling, they're minor things. Or it is the entire, going from pair to pair that catches me. So the next time, like, I'm going to be bowling a lot of the summer events coming up. I'm going to go down to Lubbock for that. I'm running a couple of clinics beforehand, which I'll put the thing on. So I'm coming to Texas, guys. If you're in Texas and you're watching this, I'm coming down there and running a couple of clinics. I got the flyer here. We'll put it up right there. You can see that flyer, and I'll keep it there for a minute to where you can see, I think it's July 20th and 21st, and we're running a couple different sessions each day. $100, $50 deposit required. You can go ahead and pay the center, and we're going to do 4-hour sessions in each session. And we'll do some class time, we'll do some online coaching and all that types of stuff too. So, but I'm going to be hitting a lot of the summer events. I'm going to be traveling around with the camper, and I'm going to try and see if I can't build a little bit different type of technique for scouting pairs and paying attention what I'm going to. So by the fifth frame of every game, I'm definitely going to have to, take some time to go down to the next pair and at least pay attention if I don't have a ball rep that I can ask about it. So, but when it comes to the TV shows and that, again, the ball reps there mostly just for support. Like, hey, these are the balls that, got you there. Which one of these look the best, and you're just kind of bouncing ideas off each other. Hey, letting them know if it's somebody that's newer to TV, hey, these lights are going to do this to the lane. You're going to see these types of things happen. Lanes are going to break down faster. Try to keep you calm. Just kind of like a coach. Just kind of like more like a mental coach than anything in those situations. Just trying to keep you in the moment and not getting too far ahead of yourself. When you're in practice, they're going to bounce some ideas off each other, and you're going to, give you some suggestions here. Why don't you try this ball in this area just to see what it'll give you? If worst case scenario, what you got planned doesn't work, you might be able to try this. So those types of things are really useful. So at the end of the day, don't think that these ball reps are sitting behind people just telling them what to do all the time. That's just not how it is. That's not how it works. Most of the time, they're there to help you lay out equipment. A lot of the guys actually don't know layouts very well. I shouldn't say a lot, but surprisingly more than I would have assumed, don't know layouts very well. And they rely on the ball reps to lay the bowling balls out for them and do those certain things. And you still got a bunch of guys out there that do the rat method, the right about there. And then they just kind of put their hand on the ball and they say, I'm going to put the pin right here. And they just kind of give it the right about there method. Got quite a few guys that still do that, which, whatever, it works for them. Bowling is a lot of feel. There's a lot of feel in this game. You just have to feel what's going on. You got to be able to pay attention and see what your ball's doing. And you can just, make your moves based on that. Some guys are a lot more technical. Some gals are a lot more technical, and they want to know the ins and outs. Like, I'm more of a technical person. I like to know my layouts and know my surfaces and stuff like that and pay attention to what my ball's doing and make my moves based on a lot of that stuff. I'm kind of in between, I'm a lot of feel, but also a lot of technical at the same sense. So, yeah, I kind of, hopefully this kind of clears some things up with what a lot of people think about these ball reps, about them sitting back and just telling guys what to do. That's not how it goes. That's not what they're doing. Because a lot of times you're talking just 2 or 3 ball reps that has to manage 40 players. And they have to try to get, to all of them or as many as they possibly can. And sometimes you've got a few reps that like to just kind of sit with just a certain few guys. And then you have another one that, will go to the people who are struggling and try to help them. And then you got, most of the time ball reps have their favorites. They won't maybe admit that, but they certainly have their favorites, people that they really enjoy. They hang out with some of these staffers at, after hours and stuff. So, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nobody has anything against that. That's fine. I know on the women's side it causes some drama. I've heard from some of the ladies that, they don't like that, some of the ball reps have favorites and, things like that. So, I guess you would expect a little bit more drama on the women's side, but don't think it's not there on the men's side too. It does happen. So, but anyway, that's all I got. I just wanted to clear the air a little bit there. Make sure to, if you want to go to this clinic, if you want to come to one of the sessions in the clinic, if you're in the Texas area, make sure to hit that center up. You can see all the information on the screen. But I'm out of here. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.